Good evening, everyone. My name is Ralph van der Lans, and I'm a professor of marketing, and I'm the coordinator of the undergraduate program of the marketing program. This evening, I have a very short presentation about the marketing program. And after that, there will be a sharing by Colleen, who's one of our former students in the program. She graduated last year. So I'm going to answer a few simple questions that you might have. And the first one is why marketing? So let me answer this question basically from my own perspective. So actually, when I was studying at university, I did not study marketing. Actually, I studied operations management. And then I had a job at TNT Express. And I'm from the Netherlands. At that time, TNT Express was owned by the Dutch Postal Company. The Dutch Postal Company did not have any competitors at that time, similar to, let's say, the post company in Hong Kong. But due to the change of regulations in the European Union, they opened the market and there were competitors entering the Netherlands. And they got a little bit worried because they thought, okay, why should customers choose us and not other companies? So this is basically a marketing question. But they didn't have marketing people working in that company. So they basically wanted to hire marketing people, and they had lots of marketing questions. And this is how I got interested in marketing. And then actually I decided to study marketing and to do a PhD. So marketing is the link between the firm and the customers, as I just explained. If you want to sell a product, or if you want to understand why customers prefer your product versus other products or services, you need to understand the customer and the link between the firm. And that's exactly what marketing is about. And of course, this is a very, very important topic, and every company needs to do marketing. So if we look at our students of basically previous years, they always get jobs in many, many different firms. So compared maybe to some other majors where students usually end up with the similar companies, marketing students add up by far the most number of different companies. So only in the previous year, our graduates found jobs with over 90 companies. And if you think about, we have about 150 graduates, or 150 to 180 graduates per year, this is a lot, right? And if you look at a variety of companies, there are many different companies such as BMW, IBM, CNN, also banks, HSBC, Hong Kong Telecom, Nielsen. So you see a lot of variety of jobs. So marketing basically prepares you for different industries, and it allows you to understand the customer better. So how can you become a marketing professional? Well, of course, the answer is quite simple. You can try to select marketing as one of your main areas of interest. So if you look at the marketing department, this is an overview of our faculty. And as you can see, there's a lot of variety of faculty as well. So if we look at different professors in our department, we have 8 different nationalities. We have an equal representation of both genders, and several of our faculty and colleagues have won several teaching awards. So let me briefly give an overview of the curriculum. So what does the curriculum look like if you study marketing? Well, first, every student in the business school, whether you're interested in marketing or any other major, you need to take marketing management. So this is basically a foundation course in marketing, and every business student needs to take that course. So that's 3 credits. When you decide to do marketing, first you need to do 2 required courses. The first one is more qualitative, or let's say consumer behavior. It focuses more on the psychology of customers, right? So how do consumers make decisions? What kind of advertising strategies might work better, etc. So that is focusing more on the psychology of customers, which is called consumer behavior. There is another foundation course, and that's called marketing research. This is a more quantitative course where you will understand to measure, for instance, market size, or you will learn how to do interviews with customers so that you can actually understand why customers prefer one product over other products, for instance. Okay, so that is marketing research. So once you have finished these courses, you can specialize in different areas that you're interested in. So, and these specializations are basically depending on your own preferences, and these are due to basically through electives. And in total, you need to get at least 12 credits of electives, and one course is 4 credits. So that means 3 courses. So for instance, if you want to focus on advertising more, then promotion and advertising management is a good course, or brand management. If you are more like an more analytical person, then maybe analytical techniques of product marketing is an interesting course, or pricing strategy, or business to business marketing. So there are a lot of different courses that you can take. Also more international courses is global marketing. So this really depends on your preferences that you will hopefully develop during your time at HQST. At the end of the curriculum, there is one more required course, and that's called strategic marketing. In this course, basically you combine all the knowledge that you have learned into one course, and you're going to apply it to real cases. Okay, so usually there is a simulation game where you pretend to be working for a company, and you need to make all kinds of marketing decisions. And you're competing with other students in the class. So this is a nice situation where you apply what you have learned in reality, and you can also compete with other students at the same time. Okay, and this is the final course. Of course, on top of that, we have lots of guest speakers from different companies and startups that we invite every year. So we also try to integrate what you have learned with what you can see in companies, and right, what are their perspectives. And sometimes this sharing is also done by our former students, right, that have done some startups, or they have experience with some multinational companies. So if you decide to do marketing, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the ride. What are marketing courses famous for? Well, they are famous for extensive use of cases, right? So we try to integrate theory and practice. There will be lots of group projects, so you will have to work in teams. As I mentioned, we also use simulations, where these are computer games where company decisions are basically imitated as in real life, and you will get very strong problem solving and decision making skills. So this is a brief overview of the marketing program. Of course, the best way to learn is to learn from one of our own students, and I'm happy to introduce Colleen Chen. She graduated last year, and she is one of our very good alumni, and happy that she took some time to basically share her experience in the marketing program. Thank you, Colleen.
Ralph, if you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I will do that. Let me see how I can do that. Stop share. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Just a brief overview about me. So I was born in Hong Kong, like many of you maybe, but I was actually raised in Singapore. I graduated just this June in marketing, and also minored in entrepreneurship. Graduated with the first class honors. So I'd like to share all my experience with marketing courses today. So here is all the courses that I took. I actually took a lot more courses than I needed to, because I genuinely had an interest in marketing. And I just wanted to, show how I've learned so much about the strategic side of marketing, the qualitative side, the quantitative side, and also explain more about the professors. So I had a very good experience in my marketing journey. I had a lot of guidance from my professors. They're very friendly, and they also will give you career guidance if you need to. I mean, what kind of teacher would take pictures with you? This was the ending class of consumer behavior, and my professor is right in the middle there. And also, this is one of my most inspirational professors, Coral Pooch, who teaches brand activism. She is actually the reason why I got into marketing, and she taught me about how marketing has the power to basically change the world, because you can help a company that has, positive social impact and so on. So after 9 marketing courses, I've learned a lot about basically what makes a successful business. You learn a lot about teamwork because in marketing, almost every course has a team project. And in these team projects, you learn more about leadership, communication, and also strategic and creative thinking. You have to put all your thinking skills into use, and then at the end of the project, usually you'd hand in a presentation or a report about how a company can change its strategy, or how a company you've come up with can be successful in whatever market you've chosen. So for marketing, in my experience, it actually covers all industries. You would think that it's about consumer goods, about maybe Coca-Cola or handbags, but actually every company needs branding. And that's why, as Ralph showed, marketing students have gone into so many different companies simply because every company needs branding. It can also be about business model restructuring. It can be about producing content and keeping the company relevant, advertising, and even consulting, about looking at the way a company has performed so far and then giving them about advice on how to better target their consumers. So in terms of my own internship experience, I've worked at 2 companies and I'm now currently doing my master's. But in those 2 companies, I was doing consulting on the LinkedIn platform, helping people with their personal brand. And the second was in a hedge fund and helping them with their branding. So this does truly show that marketing can take you into very different places and you can choose based on your personal interests. So that is all for me. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And yeah, this is the QR code for my LinkedIn. So feel free to just reach out. Now I think we'll be opening for questions.
Yes, I think if you have any questions, you can, I think, type them in chat.
Or you can even unmute yourself to talk. So I see one question, Raf. Someone is asking, which kind of students is suitable for marketing?
That's actually a good question. Actually, normally I have a slide about this, but given that the interest of time, I had to remove several slides about in my talk. But I usually have one slide, and that is marketing is for everyone. So I think the stereotypical answer is usually students think that marketing is more like soft skills, qualitative, understanding consumer behavior and psychology. But actually there is also a lot of room for marketing on the quantitative side. So actually myself, I'm a more quantitative person. And if you think about marketing analytics, big data is also getting more and more important. So I would say it doesn't really matter what your background is. Marketing could be there for you if you're interested in marketing, if you're interested in understanding how consumers make decisions. And that can be either from a more psychological point of view, like more qualitative and soft skills, doing presentations, designing creative ads. But it could also be analyzing data, which can be very important input for branding decisions, advertising campaigns, or pricing decisions. So I think as long as you're interested in marketing itself, there is basically a space for everyone, but we need all the kind of people. Yeah.
Thank you, Raf. And someone also asked that, can you introduce the details in curriculum about marketing, and something like is marketing required professional mathematical skills?
No, it's not required to have mathematical skills. I just introduced in my slides the requirements. So we have one course that is required on consumer behavior. That's more about the psychology of customers, so understanding how consumers make decisions. And another required course is marketing research, which focuses more on analyzing data and how to do interviews, for instance, with customers, how to get information. But you don't really need to have hardcore mathematical skills. It could be very useful for maybe for certain areas, but if you're interested in more creative part of marketing, then you don't really need it. So it really depends on your interest within marketing.
Okay, so there's one more question for Colin intern. As you can see in the questions, the students asked about the business model restructuring of the marketing. So Colin, can you address such questions?
Sure. Yeah. So the thing about marketing is that it's not simply about advertising. So something you'll learn is that it also dictates the way that your business works. So when I said business model restructuring, it relates to maybe the exact product you have, maybe the way that it helps consumers. So that could be that. There's also pricing, which is a part of marketing as well. So it's basically dictating the strategy that a business uses, which relates back to the final course on strategic marketing that you would be taking, which is also about deciding the business and where to take it in the future. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, thank you, Colin. And someone asking about the future path for marketing. So do you have any anticipation of your future, Colin? The future path of marketing.
Yeah, so I think everybody's heard about how technology is, booming. So I do think that in the future, a lot of the technical side of marketing will be taken over. And what will really be important is the analysis side of that. So you would have to really get to know the qualitative side.
Okay, maybe I address some basic mission question first. Someone asked that is interview a must for BBA marketing? For interview, it's not a must for marketing program. And someone asked about the lower quartile, higher quartile. And I would say you may consider lower quartile as something like the average of point of 4.4 in DSE subjects. That should be the quite significant numbers. And that's the factual information about the programs. So let me see if there's any other questions. Someone asked if it is a must for internship. This is not a must for internship, but I would say almost 90% of our students have participated in the internship program. So it is quite usual for students in business to participate in internship. So do you have any other questions for Ralph and also for Colin in terms of marketing?
So I think some questions are about how to get into the marketing program. So I think, for instance, GPA. So the most important thing to get into the marketing program is to get a good score in the intro marketing course. So basically, as a business student, you will be exposed to all different areas, and one of them is a marketing course. And we will look at the grade for that course if you can be qualified into the marketing program. So I would say focus on that course. We really want to have students that are interested in marketing. So if you're not so good in finance, or you didn't have a good score, we don't care too much about it. We care about that one specific course about marketing. So that's basically how we determine how you can enter the program.
I see a question asked that did you go for any exchange? I think it's the question for Colin, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't go for an exchange because I graduated a year early. But many students have, and they've told me that their experiences have been really good. But given the current situation, I'm not sure whether exchanges are still on. Maybe in the next year or the year after that. I do see a question for me. How did I consider marketing and entrepreneurship? So marketing, as I explained earlier, was a decision I made because of the influence of my professor. So I found that it was really interesting. And with her guidance, I realized that there was a path that was possible for me to, align my interests and also make a meaningful impact in business. And for entrepreneurship, I found that to align really well with marketing because it's about having the strategy side and then also using marketing to build up the business. And so I decided to take that as well. And I got to use both skills together. Yeah.
I think some of you asked questions about electives and minors. So this is an overview of some elective courses, just if you are interested, that we currently offer. The course I'm teaching is pricing strategy, for instance. But yeah, there is all. So this is focused a little bit more on pricing, a little bit more quantitative. But we also have courses on services marketing, global marketing, brand management. Colleen already mentioned brand activism and strategic marketing. So there are lots of different courses that we have.
Hi, Ralph. There's a question asking about the coursework like in marketing. How is the coursework like in marketing?
Okay, so it's a good question. So
Yeah.
I think it depends a little bit on the course, but I would say all our courses, they have a project, a team project. So I think that defines a little bit marketing. So you will need to work in teams on, like, say, a real situation. So I teach pricing strategy, for instance. So one example of a project would be you choose a company and you analyze their pricing strategies. And then you basically come up with maybe some recommendations how this company can improve. And at the end of the project, usually it's closed with a presentation. So all teams present their recommendations to the class. So I would say that is one characteristic of marketing courses, is we try to integrate theory with also directly applying it to some real situations. So I would say every course in marketing uses this approach. And of course, some courses also use simulations, as I mentioned, or some courses also have some case studies. This varies a bit, but I think these projects, I would say, are the most characteristic of marketing courses with presentations. One question about online learning affect your course arrangement. That's a good question. So yeah, I think now our courses are mostly online, although we recently switched to mixed mode. So on Monday, for instance, I teach in a classroom, and some students will be in a classroom face to face, and other students will be attending class online. It definitely affects the course arrangement, but I think the quality tends to be pretty good. And I think student evaluations have been quite positive about it. Turns out some students now even prefer the online class over the face-to-face. So because there is more convenience, of course. I think the future, I don't know, of course, if this is true, but my guess is that the future is going to be mixed mode. So most classrooms in HQST, they now will be equipped with microphones in the ceilings so that students can directly talk in the classroom, so that students online can also hear it. So there will be very nice integration between online and face-to-face. So I think this is one of the maybe positive aspects of the pandemic, if there's any. This will be one. There's no interview. I think you see a question here. When is the interview? There's no interview for the marketing major, at least.
Right. Is there any final exam and midterm exam in marketing courses?
Yes. So yeah, unfortunately, we also have exams, and I would say I think all courses have an exam. Usually, we have some midterms. So it will not be only one exam in the end, but usually have some exam also in the middle. So it will be some weighted average between the 2 or 3. Yeah. I think exams are currently online. Question: how do exams work? Currently, they're all online. But yeah, usually there's some mix between multiple choice and open-ended questions, essay questions. How many students? Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, I see another question here. How many students do we have every year in the program? I think usually around 150 to 180, if I'm not mistaken.
I see someone asked, what is brand management in marketing?
Maybe Colleen, you have taken this course, right? Did you? Oh, otherwise I can answer it. So brand management is basically a course that teaches how to do branding, right? So if you think about Coca-Cola, they have a branding strategy. So every company has a branding strategy, and they can focus on different aspects. Basically, how do you differentiate from your competitors? What kind of story do you tell your customers? So this is basically brand management. It could be a very interesting course to take. It's usually quite popular among marketing students.
So someone's asking what courses I took this semester. I've actually graduated, so the courses I took in my last semester was strategic management and promotion and advertising and consumerism and happiness. So I took one of the electives in Ralph's slide and the strategic marketing, which everyone has to take. Yeah. People are asking about Band A. I'm not sure what that is actually. Is that
It is about the Jupas choice. Yes, most of the students come from Band A, so we recommend you put in Band A.
I think the double major, Colin, I see a question about double major.
Right. Yeah, most of the students do a double major, so you can choose a second major after you enter the first major.
Another question is, can you attend all of the marketing courses if you're an exchange student? So yeah, there are usually some limitations. It depends a bit on the situation. So some courses, they might be pre-registered for marketing major students. And it's not always allowed that you can take all marketing courses if there are some seats available. But if you're an exchange student, we always make sure that there are seats available for exchange students. But usually there are some limited numbers. So if you really want to take all courses at the same time, that might be a bit hard. But we will definitely have seats, and it also makes the classes more interesting, because then we like to have students with different backgrounds, so it will be interesting for the discussions as well in the classroom.
We do not have specific weighting for Econ or BFS.
Is this a question for me?
Any tips for students writing personal statement? Do you have any recommendations, Ralph? Specific for marketing major?
For marketing major, I don't think we really look at too much at a personal statement. I think if you're motivated, that's the most important factor. So if you're motivated to take marketing, and if you did well in the intro marketing course, that's usually the selection that we take. So I would say write down why you're interested in marketing.
Right.
So compared to other courses in terms of usefulness, how useful is marketing? That's an interesting one. So as I said, I also have a background in a different area, operations management. So I think they're all useful, right? So every discipline is important. So if you take finance, operations management, information systems, marketing, they're all important. And in the end, you need to be able to collaborate with other departments as well. So I would say a company probably needs everyone. Marketing is special because marketing is the link between the consumer and the firm. But it doesn't mean that a company doesn't need accountants, right? So I think it's difficult to say which one is more important. You need to have everything, and you need to basically integrate this. So that, I think, is the challenge. Any other questions?
So I see a question for me. I got in broad-based, that you would say. So I didn't have a major. And then later on during the second year, I declared my major.
So I think there's always a question maybe for what I see from students, that before they actually enter university, they would already like to have some major. If you do not have really a strong opinion about what kind of major you choose, I would not worry too much, because you have lots of opportunities to make a decision later as well, right? So the first year at the business school, or the first 1.5 years, you basically get an overview of all the different areas in the business school. So there could be finance, accounting, marketing, and then you might develop maybe a preference for one over the other. And then if you learn, for instance, after 1 year, hey, marketing is very interesting, you can always apply at that stage as well. So of course, if you already know I want to do marketing very early on, you can apply. But if you later on learn, hey, this is an interesting, like actually Colleen, she found out through her professor, this is really what I want to study. And then you can do a marketing major. So I don't think it's really necessary to already decide at this stage. You can also decide a little bit later.
Right, so we recommend you to put maybe marketing, if you like marketing, into A1 choice, and then the school-based one into the A2 or the A3 choice. That would be the greatest chance for you to get into business school.
Another question is, are all presentations targeted to the whole class of size of 180 students? Usually our class sizes are smaller. So we have usually about 60 students in every marketing class, sometimes a bit smaller even. So we don't really have, especially in the major courses with 180 students. So the classes will be smaller. You will be divided in smaller groups.
So I've
One
got
more
a
question for Colin.
yeah.
Yeah.
The key skills to excel in marketing courses. So I did talk about teamwork and leadership. I think that it's very important that you are able to collaborate with your peers. Obviously, you should also have a genuine interest in marketing because that makes the understanding classes a lot easier, and then applying that knowledge into your projects a lot easier as well. Another tip would be to choose project topics that, again, are genuinely interesting to you, because you can choose real life examples that you want to analyze and then apply marketing theories to that, and it makes the experience a lot more fun.
Colin, I see a question for you. Sorry, what did you recommend for A2 and A3 choices? Maybe
Right, I'm
repeat.
just typing in the chat box to just make sure they understand the program name. I recommend you to put the program choice like marketing in A1 choice, and then the school-based one, this business and management, in the A2 or A3 choice. So to enhance your chance to get into HKUSD business school. Because the requirement for the school-based ones is a little bit lower than this program-based one. So it will push your chance.
How is marketing and management different? So that's a good question. I think management is more about managing your employees, and marketing is about managing consumers. I just want to make a simple distinction.
Yeah, if you enter into business management, the school-based one, you can join the major selection exercise and then you declare the major in the first year, in the end of the first year. So yes, you can get into marketing, but not immediately after the first year. Comparative advantage for students enrolled into BBA marketing first. You will be guaranteed to study the major. But again, if you, after the first year, you think another major is better, you can always choose to change your major. But at least you have the guarantee to get into the major.
Yeah, I think this question about if you choose marketing first and you are accepted in marketing, you don't have to choose again. Of course, you can. You could switch your major, or you could do maybe a double major. I think, right? Is that correct, Colin?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is putting the school-based one better than the marketing in A1? It depends on your interests, because if you are interested in marketing, we recommend you to put in A1. But of course, if you don't have any specific interest, you just want to study major first, study the business first, you can put the school-based one in the choice A1. That would be better. Okay, so if there's no more questions, thanks you for joining. We are going to done here, but still there are some more questions. If you want to ask, you can go to our booth and you can ask our student ambassador again for many details like how about the scores and how are the student life. You can check our booth here. Okay, so thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Thank you,
Thank you,
Ralph, and thank
everyone.
you, Colin.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And enjoy your weekend.
Thank
Yeah.
you.